Planning your first trip to Italy and not sure where to go? In this video, I'll walk you through the perfect one-week starter itinerary and how to expand it if you've got more time. Italy has too many amazing places for one trip, so you've got to focus. And just so you know, you'll definitely be doing most or all of this by train, and I'll explain why a little later on. In this video, I'll cover the big 3 cities you shouldn't miss, the best add-ons depending on your travel style, how to get around and you don't want to miss that part, and finally the most common planning mistakes to avoid. If you've only got 6 or 7 days for Italy, this is going to be pretty easy because there's one amazing way to spend them. And if you've got 8 or more days, I'll show you a bunch of great add-ons depending on your interests. Rome is usually where you'll want to start, and I'd give it about 3 full days. This is where you'll see the heavy hitters, the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, the Pantheon, and of course the Vatican Museums and St. Peter's Basilica. It's a big, bustling city, and honestly it can feel hectic compared to some of the other stops, but that's part of the experience. You'll do a lot of walking here, and you'll definitely want to plan ahead for the skip-the-line tickets at the major sites. But there's nothing quite like standing in the Colosseum or walking through the Forum and realizing you're in the middle of 2,000 years of history. For a first trip to Italy, Rome isn't optional, it's the foundation. Next up is Florence, which is about 90 minutes from Rome by train, and I'd plan on 2 full days here. This is the heart of the Renaissance, with the Uffizi Gallery, Michelangelo's David at the Accademia, and the incredible Duomo right in the center of the city. Florence is much more compact than Rome, so it's easier to get around, and 2 full days is usually enough to see the highlights at a comfortable pace. Some of the best side trips and day trips are near Florence, so if you have enough time, you might end up spending 4 or 5 days here, and we will cover that shortly. And finally, Venice, which is about 2 hours from Florence by train. I'd plan on 2 full days here, which is usually enough to see the highlights without feeling rushed. You've got the canals and the gondolas, St. Mark's Basilica, the Doge's Palace, and just wandering around the narrow lanes is an experience on its own. Venice is compact and walkable, and it feels completely different from anywhere else in the world. Crowds can be intense in the afternoons, so the trick is to pay a bit more for a hotel on the main island rather than on the mainland, and get out early in the morning to enjoy the city before the day trippers arrive. And honestly, 2 days is usually enough. Venice is magical, but if you stay too long, it can also feel overwhelming. Another nice thing is that Rome, Florence, and Venice are all connected by cheap, fast trains. I'll explain more about that later on, but that's what makes this classic first-timer route so easy to do in just a week. So just to recap, if you've got only a week, the perfect first-time itinerary is Rome, Florence, and Venice. But if you've got 10 to 14 days, you can add 1 or more destinations depending on your interest. This map shows where the big 3 are and where the most popular extras fit in. And if I had to just pick one area to add first, it would definitely be this next one coming up. Now, one quick note before we dive in. Some of Italy's coastal and island destinations, like the Amalfi Coast, Capri, Cinque Terre, and even Lake Como, are very seasonal. From November through March, they're pretty quiet, with some hotels and restaurants closed for the season. So if you're planning a fall or winter trip, you'll want to focus more on the big cities like Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan, or Bologna, which are great year-round. But if you're visiting in spring, summer, or early fall, these coastal spots can be incredible. If I had 10 or 11 days in Italy and had to choose just one extra stop, this would be it. South of Rome, you've got Naples, Sorrento, Pompeii, and the Amalfi Coast all in the same area. Pompeii in particular is absolutely mind-blowing. Walking through an entire Roman city that was frozen in time is something you'll never forget. Sorrento makes a perfect base, with ferries to Capri and easy access along the coast. The Amalfi Coast itself is stunning, with cliffside towns including Positano and some of the best scenery in the country. From Rome, it's just over an hour by high-speed train to Naples, so it's surprisingly easy to add on. If I had to choose between Amalfi Coast and Cinque Terre, Amalfi blows Cinque Terre away from me, and it's just on a different level. Speaking of that, another add-on option is the Cinque Terre, 5 colorful villages on the cliffs north of Florence. It's incredibly photogenic, easy to reach by train, and perfect if you want seaside charm for a couple of days. On warm days, these towns can feel overwhelmed by visitors, but they're amazingly photogenic, so they're probably worth it. And if you can spend one night here, you'll have a morning and evening to explore with far smaller crowds. If you're into wine or just want a taste of the countryside, Tuscany has plenty of options near Florence. The smaller hill towns like San Gimignano or Montepulciano are surrounded by vineyards and olive groves, and staying at an agriturismo, which is basically a farm stay guest house, can be a highlight if you've got extra time. Siena is the larger city in the region, with a famous medieval square, so if you want something more substantial, it's another good option. You could also add Milan or nearby Lake Como, but honestly, these would be further down my list unless you have something specific you want to see. Milan is Italy's fashion capital, but it barely feels like Italy compared to the other cities. And Lake Como is beautiful, but in my opinion it's not nearly as scenic as the coastal areas. It's more of a weekend spot for wealthy Milan residents. Still, if you're curious, both are easy to reach by train. If you'd rather mix in a mid-sized city instead of only the big tourist centers, Verona and Bologna are both good options. Verona is famous for its Roman amphitheater and of course the Romeo and Juliet connection. Bologna doesn't have the blockbuster sights, but everyone agrees it's the place to find the very best food in Italy. And that's the one I'm most anxious to visit next. Either city makes a nice stop between Florence and Venice if you want something a little different. People always ask about Sicily, and it is really amazing. You've got ancient ruins, beautiful coastlines, and unique food and culture. The catch is that it's a big island, and you'll need to either fly or spend a lot of time on slow trains and ferries to get there. For a first trip, it's usually better to keep things simple and save Sicily for a future visit when you can give it the time it deserves. So those are the most popular add-ons if you've got more than a week, but remember, you don't need to do them all. Pick one or two that fit your style, and you'll still have a trip that feels complete. First off, forget about renting a car or driving. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, especially in Rome or Naples. Fortunately, Italy has quietly built one of Europe's best intercity train systems, and it makes this whole trip incredibly easy. High-speed trains connect Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan, Bologna, pretty much everywhere you'll want to go, and the rides are fast and comfortable. The fares are also surprisingly cheap as long as you book your tickets a few weeks in advance. For example, most of the key cities are only about 90 minutes apart by train, so you can cover a lot of ground without feeling rushed. So don't stress about driving, just stick with the trains. It's cheaper, easier, and a whole lot less stressful. One quick note about planning. The biggest mistake I see first-time visitors make is trying to squeeze in too many cities. I've seen people plan 7 days in Italy with 7 different stops, and that's just exhausting. It's not ambitious, it's madness. You'll come home more tired than when you left. You'll spend half of your trip on trains and feel like you didn't really see anything. A week means 3 cities max, and even with 2 weeks, you'll enjoy it more if you slow down and spend a little longer in each place. Italy is not going anywhere, you can always come back. So that's really it. If you've got a week, stick with Rome, Florence, and Venice. If you've got 10 days or more, you can add on 1 or 2 extras depending on what interests you most. Don't try to cram in everything because you'll just wear yourself out. I've put links in the description below to my free Italy articles with even more details if you want to dig deeper. And don't forget you can also grab my free travel ebook at priceoftravel.com/ebook or scan the QR code on the screen. If you found this helpful, please like and hit that subscribe button for more budget-friendly travel advice and itineraries. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.